Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning into these videos. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about this article that was posted for Kuwait. And the title reads that Kuwait banks set to freeze accounts of missing biometric fingerprints. So over there in that country, which is right under Iraq, if all those local Kuwaitis, which are most likely Ishmaelites, if they don't abide by this decree, they're not going to be able to use their bank funds. They won't be able to buy or sell. And over there in the Middle East, in the Baghdad area, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Kuwait, those places that as of recent with all the conflicts that America had, and I personally was a part of, because I was stationed in Iraq, we were implementing this, that all those people who came through the checkpoints had to be scanned. And ultimately, the main reason why is because the American government needed all these locals to be put into the system. And one thing that we would do, part of the missions, is when we go out to the local towns, district that we haven't been to, we would set up a little tent area and then tell the locals that they need to abide by this, put in their fingerprints and their iris scans for a lottery. And that's just one of those like bluffs and lies that the American government was doing to the local populace. But this is going to be happening here in America, because over there it's basically a police state. You have to go through a whole bunch of checkpoints, and if you're missing a few credentials here and there, they're going to shut down your banks. They're going to make it so that you're not going to be able to maneuver freely as you should. From this article, I'm just going to read just a little bit here. So they're going to be sending these alerts right here so that eventually in a few months, those people in Kuwait have to scan their fingerprints and irises. So from this part right here, it says that they're going to be suspending bank cards by October 31st. All bank cards belonging to customers who have not completed the fingerprint process will be deactivated. And then beginning December 1st, a complete freeze will be imposed on all accounts of Kuwait citizens who have not complied with the fingerprint requirement along with their bank balances. And so over there, they're able to implement this and practice that. But they're going to start implementing and practicing that all throughout the four corners of the earth. And here in America, you got certain freedoms, but eventually those freedoms are going to be tarnished, trampled upon, and that Esau Edom is basically going to require you to do the things that he's doing to these local Iraqis and Kuwaitis. And this article, I'm not going to get into it too much, but just to show you that this is something that I actually was doing when I was in Iraq a few years back, is we would scan the locals' irises and fingerprints. It was to the point that we would go to a town that wasn't scanned, they're not on the system, that we would set up a little tent and tell the local populace that if you scan your fingerprints and irises, then you'll be put into a lottery and you have a chance to win a few dinars or whatever. And just going into how much this devil is going to lie. But he really just is trying to impose this thing on these people, that he wants to have all their biometrics. Pretty soon, that's not going to be enough, because all that information needs to be implanted into people. And so I'm going to read this here in Daniel 8, and I'm going to start at verse 23. It says, "And in the latter time of their kingdom," this last rulership with Esau Edom, and he has all the people, all the waters of the people, and he sits upon them, just as is spoken about in Revelation, he's going to cause a decree. He's going to cause a decree that everybody has to abide in what he says. And this thing that he's going to abide in is the MOTB. It's not what these other counterfeit pastors are saying, that it's sin or that it's the image of Jesus Christ. It's going to be an actual implementation of this device. The charagma, which has all those credentials and information written inside of it. And he wants that into you, implanted into you. Otherwise, you won't be able to buy or sell. Your accounts are going to be frozen unless you have that device. And so this is in Daniel 8 from verse 23. It says, and in the latter time, their kingdom, when their transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And so going into that in verse 25, with his policies, his draconian measures, because he's the one who's in charge of the earth. He's got the fullness of it, and with his plan, he's trying to harm the elect, because with that device is basically meaning that you bow down to his image, to his beast system, and that you are basically saying that you belong to him. That's why he's going to make war with the Prince of Princes, Yahushua and his angels, and the hopeful elect that he's going to try to take out of the Lord's hand. He's going to try with all deceitfulness, with all powers and signs and lying wonders, to try to tempt us to receive his MOTB. As he even says here, it says that he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. And that's a way, the subtle way that he's going to try to implement this. Because there's going to be a large famine in the land. There's going to be a lot of plagues and pestilences and a whole bunch of checkpoints here in America. Not just over there in Iraq and Kuwait, but over here also. And if you don't abide by what this devil is saying, you're not going to be able to participate in a society that he's telling you about that's going to be prosperous and full of peace. He's going to basically bluff and say that you should take this deal. But it's not a good deal, because if you read the scriptures with understanding, you know that this is something that you're not supposed to take, because we were forewarned about this, and the prophets have risen up to sound this alarm and blowing the trumpet in Zion as these things happen. And we're telling you, making it plain upon tables, warning you not to abide by this devil's policies or listen to his his lies and deceit. So I'm going to read this here in Revelation 13 and 16. So it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Mark in the Greek is charagma, because he's going to implement that. You go into the root words of that, it says charax and grapho, because he's going to write down all that information so that you all your bank information is all into your hands, so that you go to the stores and you buy with your hand. Basically, all that information is what he's going to basically put in your way, so that if you don't have these things, you're not able to buy or sell. And he's really going to implement that device through the charagma, just as the scriptures say. You know, we're so late in the game. You're seeing all these other so-called pastors and people who are tending to the flock. They're really leading the flock astray, because they're not speaking on these things. They don't have a sure word of prophecy or the testimony of Yahushua. And so I'm going to read this in Revelation 14. I'm just going to go into the warning of this, of why we shouldn't take this. So this is in this is in verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, and this devil, because I even got this in 2 Thessalonians, he's being revealed right now. And you have the prophets showing you these things. As we get closer, measuring the times diligently, this devil is going to start pumping out more articles about his grand plan. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he's going to be in straits. And it's all through the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and the prophets that he set up. And we're speaking these things. So now you don't have you're not ignorant of these things. This devil is the one who has that charagma technology, and he wants to implement it either in your forehead or in your hand. Pretty soon we're going to start seeing more and more of those people being tested on by Elon Musk. And you see that that's not really leaving the mainstream news. It's always on the talks because that's this devil's end goal. So from verse 9 again, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So as the hopeful elect get beamed up and delivered because they're standing stiffly for his name, and they're not going to be tarnished with this device, this charagma, they're going to be with Yahushua, being crowned for his name and for standing firmly, being faithful unto death. But those of the 2/3 of the nation of Israel who do receive that MOTB, and this is why we ring the alarm, or we sound the alarm and ring that bell in Israel, because this is a grave warning right here. It says that, from right here, it says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So Yahushua and the elect, when they are crowned, are going to witness this. Because in the middle of the congregation, we're going to see Babylon destroyed. All these prophecies line up to this, and there's definitely going to be a third woe, and it's all part of that new marriage with the elect and the nation of Israel. But those who take that mark, receive that sihib, they're going to be in that brimstone. While the holy angels and Yahushua are going to be witnessing the torments while they're in that brimstone. So all these prophecies line up. We're not just out there speaking about the nukes or whatever, but we want to be a part of this with Yahushua, because we don't want to be in that torment. So I'm going to read from verse 11. It says, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. And that's why we're ringing this alarm, sounding the alarm, I should say, because this is a grave warning right here. You don't want to be caught up in this punishment. Verse 12, it says, here is the patience of the faint. It says, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahushua. So if you keep the commandment of not taking the MOTB, Yahushua and his angels will fight for you, because that's what he is requiring you to do. Having this commandment right here, a commandment that's spoken about in the New Testament. This one specifically, you got to keep. And it makes it so easier as this devil, the closer we get to our salvation, it draws near than we believe, he's going to push out more articles. He's going to make it more known that he's the devil, that he's going to try to implement that MOTB system. So I'm going to read this in 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 1. It says, now I beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letters and from us, as that day of Hamashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And with all these articles, this man of sin is being revealed. And in verse 4 it says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. And part of his plan with the whole sihib and making sure that anybody, if they want to buy or sell, they have to receive that, that's very godlike. Continuing on verse 5. Verse 5 it says, "Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." And right now, he's being consumed with the spirit of his mouth. Because through these words, we're prophesying to the elect, so that they're risen up, sealed for deliverance. And that's really what's destroying his whole agenda. Because now that the elect is being sealed, he's not going to be able to get all of us. He's not going to be able to touch the Lord's elect, his anointed. And then continuing on, it says, "And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." Because once the elect is sealed, then the four winds of destruction are going to fall upon this place with thermonuclear fire, and Yahushua treading the winepress over there, over here in Babylon, attacking the nation of Edom. But with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushua, Ba'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom Akim.